The DAZN boxing show is on the road from Sheffield, where this Saturday night Dalton Smith fights in front of his hometown fans in an eagerly anticipated domestic dust-up against Sam Maxwell. The British and Commonwealth super lightweight titles are up for grabs, and the countdown starts now. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell this Saturday live on DAZN. Dalton in defence of his British titles, looking to add Sam Maxwell's Commonwealth title. How are you? Good?
Good as ever.
Yeah?
Excited to be here. Fight week again in my hometown, so ready to go.
What was the experience in America like? Obviously, I saw you. We spoke at the Ryan Garcia tank fight. You were out there sparring. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and I got everything I wanted going over there. Getting some hard sparring, some great work with Manny. It's just been great preparation for this fight.
Yeah, indeed. Sam Maxwell obviously brings his own quality to the ring. Big puncher. You would have known of him from Team GB. What do you make of him now, where he is in his career?
Sam's a good fighter. He's experienced. Obviously, the respect's there between me and Sam, but it's business, and it's a great fight at this stage of my career. One what puts me to the next level, and I've said it before. Like, I wanted this fight 18 months ago when I was mandatory, so another 18 months of developing. It's in great hands for me.
Yeah, indeed.
You look like a picture of health. You're sipping a coffee, you've come up here, your sunglasses, you look the part. How's camp gone? How are you feeling?
Honestly, Tony, it's been the best camp. It's been the best camp as a professional. I always train hard, but I've said it. My last two performances where I've needed, like, you'll know yourself. Yeah. Sometimes you need that opponent to give you the fear factor. Yeah. Brings the best out of you in camp. That's why I was over in America. I wanted to push myself to the limits, and you can see I'm in the best condition I've been as a professional, and I'm ready to go.
This title, this fight's for the belt for keeps. Yeah. You won it outright then. I mean, you don't want to look past Sam Maxwell, and I know you're not, because everything's fully focused on Saturday, but you've obviously, once you win it outright, you've surpassed British title level and domestic level. You look straight away then. Do you want to look to European level or the international title? What is it that floats your boat?
You look at the 140 division, there's that many fights out there. It's stacked, so obviously my main focus is on Saturday night. I've got to get a job done there. There's nothing after that until I get the job done, so that's why we have, as managers and as coaches, that's their job. So get the job done on Saturday night, and then we'll see where we go. But like you say, it'd be nice to get the European and move on.
Very, very busy you've been in the last 12 months. I was looking at your record, 5 fights in a year, which doesn't normally happen. It's normally 3.
Adi said to me, "Tom, can a fighter be too busy?" Please answer
go on,
that.
Yeah, go on, answer it. Can you be too busy?
A fighter can never be too busy.
Is it an idle mind type thing that if you're not fighting and in training, you can sort of creep off and do other bits?
Consistency is key, and if you're not active, you can go stale, and you lose momentum. And this is why I feel like my momentum, what I've had, Sam's not had that. I think that's going to play a part as well. So, look, like, I've been very active. I wasn't my best performance in my last fight, but that was just me getting up for the fight. But there's no excuses. I'm ready to go again, and it's been the best camp I've had so far.
Final one. I see Sam just over our shoulder here, obviously coming in for an interview as well. In terms of Sheffield, the city, obviously, look, it's the city that's had so many fantastic fighters that have sold out the Utilita Arena. You're that next guy.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of put that on your back now. You need to kind of carry the torch that I guess Kell Brooks passed to you. Any extra pressure or excitement for that?
I wouldn't have worked as hard as I have over the years if I thought pressure was going to get to me. Like, I've always wanted this, so I'm living my dream. So why would there be pressure on me?
Yeah.
I'm just going to enjoy the ride, and it's going to bring the best out of me. I proved it, the first time I've done it at the arena, and it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and I'm just going to enjoy the ride.
It's just about being resilient, sticking it out. That one more rep, that one more punch, that one more round. And it's always got me to where I am now.
It's perfect punching from Dalton Smith. Maxwell.
Lovely 1-2 by Maxwell.
Sam Maxwell defends his Commonwealth title live on DAZN this Saturday, looking to add the British title as well as he takes on Dalton Smith. Sam joins us now. Me and you were ringside together. I hope you remember when we were watching Dalton Smith versus Billy Allington. Yeah. What did you make of that performance? I remember it was kind of iffy, wasn't it, a bit, you said?
Yeah, I think maybe I had more expectations of Dalton. Thought he was just going to blast Allington out the way, but maybe I disrespected Allington. He was a tough man, he took some big shots and he managed to take Dalton in 12 rounds. Yeah.
What do you make of Dalton as a fighter overall? You must have watched his career since his first fight. How do you think he is?
Yeah, he blew on the scene, he's looking destructive, and maybe his last two he's looked a bit not as a star as he was looking early on in his career, but yeah, I expect him to bring his best performance out against me, definitely.
Yeah. First and foremost, you look absolutely amazing. This new trip, this frequency fitness trip, it looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I think it's as much your body as it is the clothing, to be honest. You look in great shape, mate. How are you feeling?
Feeling great, Tony. Camp's gone amazing. I've had the most time for the fight. Like I got told 15 weeks you're fighting the most notice I've ever had in my whole career, and just in peak condition, feeling good.
What's the things that you're expecting from someone like Dalton? Because as we know, he's flying at the minute and he's so active, and there's an awful lot of footage to study of someone like Dalton. Whereas with yourself, how have you prepared for it?
We've got tactics, and we've seen things we feel like which I can capitalise on, definitely. But Dalton, he's got great reactions, he's got loads of different shots, he's got great shot variety. But I feel like he's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got a lot of expectation. He's going to come in. I can get the vibe from his camp, and they're just thinking they're going to come in, smash me, walk through me, and I think they'll just underestimate you big time.
You've got an awful lot of experience behind you now, and you've had your ups, you've had your downs, and they make fighters stronger, in my opinion. They really do, because you can't understand how great the good times really are until you've been down, and then you've got to come back up again. Will you feel that will benefit you on fight night?
I think it will, definitely. I've learned so much from my loss, and it's made me a better fighter, and I can't wait to show it. Like, it just took all the expectation, all the pressure as well away. Everyone just thinks I'm finished, and I'm not. I'm at the best. I feel like I'm the best of my career so far, and just got to go and show it fight night now.
You mentioned that you had the 15 weeks notice. You've had a 6-rounder in between that. Would you have preferred to have gone from that defeat to an 8 or 10? Or are you okay just having the 6 and going into this?
No, I'm okay with the 6 going into this. I know my fitness is there. I'm a 12-round fighter, definitely. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Even that they gave me that, because they was looking at I weren't going to get that and I'd go straight into Dalton. I wouldn't have liked that. So the 6th round was brilliant. I went a distance, so I got a full 6 in. Worked on a few different things I hadn't tried before, and really enjoyed it. So definitely benefited from them.
A lot of the focus has been on if Dalton wins. Dalton goes to European, Dalton goes to fringe world level. If you win, those are things you want as well, right? Are you looking at the European level? Are you looking at fringe world? Where's your mind right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at Dalton, like thinking when I beat him on Saturday, then I'm got all these opportunities in front of me, all these options. But first and foremost, beat Dalton on Saturday, and it puts me right back up there. It's
going to be a bit hostile in there Saturday. Dalton fans
the
make some noise.
Already.
How do you prepare for that mentally?
I just think take it all in, enjoy it. Like, it's going to be a great atmosphere, and just pretend it for me maybe. But can't wait for it. And then I know as the fight goes on, and I can start hearing them. The tone go down, it's getting a bit quieter. That's what I want to hear, like it be silent in there.
Yeah. Should be a good scrap on Saturday, it really should be. Sam Maxwell, as we've just said, more than just a puncher, boxer as well. Dalton can do a bit of everything as well. British and Commonwealth straps up for grabs. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell, live on DAZN this Saturday.
And now entering the arena, Smith! Inch-perfect punching from Dalton Smith. Pacheco!
Big punching, Diego Pacheco.
The bomb of Gardner!
Hey Diaz, fight me. Trim de la trim right here, I'm coming for you.
All right, let's get to what we're here for. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell, British and Commonwealth 140-pound belts up for grabs. This is a good fight.
Really good fight. This is kind of like an old school fight. Now we tend to bring over a lot of international opposition. This is just two very talented British fighters going for the British and Commonwealth title. You know, the dynamics of these guys really, say, grew up together, but in a boxing sense, grew up at Team GB, just across the road here. They know each other very well. Sam Maxwell was highly touted, highly regarded, lost that fight for the IBO World Championship, come back since, he's a good puncher. Dalton Smith's coming off the back of two okay performances, but against lower level opposition, and I think this is where you're going to see the best of him. This is where you're going to see him chomping at the bit against the game opponent. Tony knows, very talented Sam Maxwell, very good fighter, and I think it's a really good domestic fight.
Tony, how good is Sam?
Very, very good. You know, thoroughbred amateur, been right through the GB circuit. He's been long and established. Him and Dalton have only ever sparred once, and that was as Sam was on his way out the door and Dalton was on his way into the GB setup. So I don't think there'll be too much to read into that. But for someone like Sam, you can never cross him off. He has that punch. It's as simple as that. Dalton won't come across a bigger puncher as Sam until he gets past European level. I don't think. So he's going to have to be very switched on, very clever. As I've said before, I'm super impressed with Dalton Smith, and the thing that impressed me with him is his judgment at distance. I don't think he's the biggest puncher, I don't think he's the quickest fighter, but his judgment at distance is second to none. And I think, you know, that might be the difference on Saturday night.
Eddie, when you look at your stable, is Dalton one of those fighters that you think, okay, this guy, if all goes right, should get to world level, should be fighting for world titles?
Yeah, and you look at this city particularly dying out for a run from a local fighter, and I think he's got the ability to do it. This is the kind of fight where we're really going to find out, because if he cruises through Sam Maxwell, beats him well, you've got to say that he's ready for those sort of world-class fighters. Not the elite guys yet, but
fringe
the top
guys,
15 guys. I mean, when you look at our roster at 140, it's unbelievable. You know, Regis Prograis, Jack Catterall, Liam Paro, Stevie Spark, Montana Love, Richardson Hitchens have probably missed some out as well, you know, and he can slot right into the mix with those guys. Maybe not the Regis Prograis just yet, but 2 or 3 fights, that's where it's got to be, and we can bring those big fights to Sheffield. But I think we're going to get a really tasty one on Saturday, because I think there's a lot of pride for both guys. Sam Maxwell needs to win this fight, really, for his career, and Dalton Smith needs to win it, and win it well, to make a statement. Yeah,
Dalton Smith, obviously a very good prospect. Another good prospect is Pat McCormack, who everyone thinks is really going to go all the way. And me and you were talking, if he doesn't, it's down to Pat, really, isn't it?
The only person
first 10 rounder.
Yeah. I think when you look at the card, this card is sort of seeing a lot of our young stars. I mean, Janae Boston, I think, is a sensational talent. Even before the bell with Beatrice Ferreira, for me, pound for pound, one of the top female fighters in the world right now. Hopi Price, looking for a statement in a good domestic fight as well. And Pat McCormack is, you know, one of those guys that, if he doesn't fight for a world title or win a world title, we're all wasting our time, because I see this kid in the Olympics. You know, I see this kid on the amateur scene, probably one of the best fighters Britain's produced for a long time. He's going to have a huge following in the North East. I like what Tony Dixon's saying. You know, I mean, it's going to be a really solid test for him. But again, I just feel like these guys with the top pedigree are going to shine against someone that's coming to win. Tony Dixon will do that, and I think you'll see a special performance from Pat McCormack at the weekend.
Final one for me, Eddie. I know we've got to let you go. When's the announcement going to come of the next schedule of fights for DAZN and Maxwell?
So we're trying as early as this weekend. I mean, I got a call yesterday to say, oh, can we announce the 7 or 8 shows on Saturday? And it's like, okay, so we're really up against it contractually, but we're trying to get it all over the line. I think latest next week, 4-hour slate in August, September, October, November and December. There'll be more to add in, but I think you'll get 6 or 7 of those fight dates already penned in, so we can say to DAZN subscribers, look what we've got coming up, and you're going to be really impressed. You're going to love it.
You know what I liked? I said final one. What I liked, I saw what you said about PBC in terms of it being their year or the start of the year. I know that means you're going to come back hungry for the end of the year. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, when you talk about it's my year, halfway through the year, and they've had a go. By the way, I don't look at those 3 fights they've made and go, damn. I look at it and go, fantastic. You know, 1, because it's great for boxing. 2, because it gives us a kick up the backside and makes DAZN more aggressive as well. So it's good for fight fans. It's good for the industry when big fights are getting made. Obviously, with Saul not fighting in September on DAZN, all of a sudden we have a little bit of a war chest that we can look at. The fights that work, not just going and making fights for the sake of it, but big fights that work. And I think now, you know, we can look at that budget potentially and bring 3 or 4 major fights to the platform, as well as our schedule in the UK and America, the standard stuff as well. And you know, already in the UK, you know, we're looking at 2 massive World Championship fights in October and November. Obviously, AJ August the 12th, some big stuff in September, and December we've got Bam against Sonny Edwards, and much more to come.
And maybe even a WBC.
Before he just runs off, just give us an idea of who.
Yeah, but when I do that, it kind of softens the announcement.
Doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You got to tease him a little bit, Tone. You got to tease him a little bit.
I mean, there's a couple that have already
Where are
been
we
spoken
going to?
about. I mean, the couple that we've already been spoken about from a UK point of view is obviously Lee Wood against Josh Warrington.
Big one.
You know, big British
City ground,
featherweight
sold
world
out.
championship fight. Then you've got the rematch, Taylor against Cameron in Ireland as well. Regis Prograis against Devin Haney stateside is a fight we definitely want to try and make as well. Belanga against Munguia in the main room at the Garden. I mean, there's loads to nail. So thanks for that, Tone. We've just given about 50% of the
Maybe
schedule
a
away.
WBC Bridgerweight title.
Got to make Bridgerweight first, haven't you?
You say it, mate.
You know, he might sling me over this thing.
Top man, Eddie. Thanks a lot. Here's a reminder of what's coming your way on the main card this Saturday. The start of an English lightweight title showdown between Lewis Sylvester and Adam Cope. The emerging Junaid Boston faces a tough test in the shape of Ryan Amos. Hopey Price puts his undefeated record on the line against James Beach Jr. Pat McCormack will be looking to impress once again as he faces tough fighter Tony Dixon. And the main event sees the British and Commonwealth super lightweight straps up for grabs as Dalton Smith and Sam Maxwell go head to head. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell this Saturday live on DAZN. The British and Commonwealth titles up for grabs at £140. Good fight, this one. I like this.
Really good fight. I mean, Sam's got it all to do. I'm not going to lie. Dalton Smith looks like, you know, one of the brightest talents in the whole country.
Yeah.
Quality operator. Just performed so well so far in his career. And Sam fell by the wayside in 2 fights back, and you just think to yourself, can he get back on track? The biggest thing Sam Maxwell has going for him, he punches hard.
Really hard.
Yes,
yeah.
he can really wallop. I'm not too sure on his resistance levels, and I actually think it may be the weight, but ultimately he'll have to show us something that he's never shown us before to beat Dalton Smith.
It's a bit of a step up as well for Sam, and what I mean by that is obviously, look, 2022, you mentioned that one fight where he went for the IBO title, got stopped in that fight. So far in 2023, he's only had that 6th rounder. So you've gone from a 6th rounder, and look, he got the 6 rounds, and that could be enough for him, but now he's going straight into a 12-rounder against one of the biggest prospects, probably in world boxing.
Who's been massively active.
Too active?
No, you can never be too active.
5 fights in a year he's had.
You can never
5 fights in a year. Is that not a lot?
Honest to God, bro.
Okay.
You can never be too active.
I'm not even going to disagree with you.
Oh, you can't never be too active, because by being so active, you're constantly in the gym. And at his age, your body doesn't need that much time to recover. So he will go from camp to camp to camp, and it's not an issue. The only issues only come with age.
Okay.
Because the recovery slows down so much, unless, you know, you're taking the best performance enhancing drugs in the world, which allows you to just go camp after camp after camp, and you're 50 years old.
Or you're not living the life, and he clearly doesn't do neither of those things, so he's okay. Yeah.
So, you know, he's very, very thorough in the way he prepares really well. His father's got him here and everywhere. I actually like the fact that he takes time with other people and trainers and coaches, and he moves about. It's not all just about him and his father. Yes, his father's his main trainer, but his father likes him to see what other people offer and what other people can do, and I think that's massively important, because trainers are the most pretentious people in the world. It's like, if someone else is taking his fighter on pads, it's like they get all pent up about it. His father's not even bothered, just wants the best for his son and wants him to learn, and by doing that you're creating such a brilliant fighter, because he's getting things from all over the place. So we'll see how he's coming along, but I do really rate Dalton Smith. You know, he's a fantastic talent. His judgment at distance is what I like the most of him. I don't think he's a big crazy puncher. I don't think he's got massive amounts of speed. It's his judgment at distance, his little short step backs, his little feints, little things that he does here and there. It's an old head on young shoulders, is the best way to say it. And I've been impressed with him from the start.
By his own admission, he agreed. I remember speaking to him ringside about his last performance against Billy Ellington. He said it wasn't his best performance. And what I like, you mentioned that he's gone and learnt a bit from different trainings. He went to America, spent a few weeks out there as well, sparring really good kids as well. I think he sparred Virgil Ortiz. You don't get much better sparring than that, do you? Virgil Ortiz, a very big 147-pounder. It'd be interesting to see where his mind's at. And what I mean by that, like, let me ask you the question. When you were coming through and got to that British level, how much of your eyes were on world level? Like, were you looking at it, or was it a case of, no, let me just worry about where I am now? Was you looking at what everyone on the world level was doing?
For me, I was constantly obsessed with the British title. So I think at the time when I was a light heavyweight, I think Tony Oki was the champion, and I was focused on Tony Oki.
He was good. Tony was
a workhorse, really strong fighter, a former ABA champion at super heavyweight, if I'm right in believing. A really good fighter, but he was the sole focus, and then obviously my attention turned to Nathan Cleverly, and then that never ever went away until I actually beat him up the last time we faced each other. So yeah. You do
had to get that in, didn't you? That last bit.
Mate. Sorry, I had to.
Didn't ask that.
Don't worry about that. But yeah, you have to just
focus on where you are.
On where you are. I mean, there's no point in looking at world level or even European level when you are at domestic honours. Now, I would say that for Sam Maxwell. I maybe wouldn't say that for Dalton Smith because he's on the verge of capturing this British title for keeps.
Yeah.
So he's about to go past it.
Yeah.
So I think someone like Dalton,
and add the Commonwealth to it potentially.
So I think someone like Dalton should be looking at the European level, guys. I don't think he should be looking at world level because what's the rush? You're a young man. You've got a fantastic career ahead of you. Take your time, but ultimately be looking at the European champion now. Have a look at what his fights are like. A little bit of studying here and there. Set your attentions towards that style of fighter. So I'm not sure the European champion is in his weight division, but one thing I will say, he won't be as a destructive puncher as Sam Maxwell is.
Indeed. Sam Maxwell, as we say, very, very good puncher. And we're not overlooking Sam as well. I think Sam is a good fighter, and I think he's going to prove that on Saturday night. For Dalton, headline now. He's been headlining for a while. Does that change a fighter's mindset as well when you know you are the headline act?
A little bit more pressure. I mean, it's not. You're the main draw, so if Dalton's to get injured or anything goes wrong in camp, the whole show's off usually, and that brings a little bit of added pressure because I'm sure he'll have friends that are on the bill. I'm sure he'll have gym mates and stable mates that are on the card, and he'll want to make sure it goes ahead. But ultimately, he's now got to the level that he aspired to get to. He wants to be top of the bill. Every fighter starts off in this game at the bottom of the bill in the 4 rounds or the 6 rounders, and they aspire to get to the top. He's now at the top of the bill. He might not be a world champion yet, but he's doing so well at domestic level for the British title that they can put him in big arenas. Yeah, and that stands testament to how good he's prepared himself and how good he's doing. Yeah, that's the main event. Some good fighters in the undercard to look at for as well. Pat McCormack, obviously special fight. We last time saw him out in Newcastle back in March. He got the late stoppage, if you guys remember, with the Italian very, very upset at being stopped. He steps up to 10 rounds. Special fighter. He has everything, that boy. He has everything. I think the only person who's going to beat Pat McCormack is Pat McCormack. He's only going to be himself. He'll only have himself to blame if he loses because that boy has so much talent and ability. It's unbelievable. So I expect to see him fly through the ranks and be exactly where Dalton Smith is now in no time at all. I mean, I expect him to be looking at British titles anytime soon. Yeah, very, very soon as well. Hopey Price is an interesting one. Every time I speak to Dave Coldwell, they're working on new things. With Hopey, I know he does a lot with boxing science in Sheffield as well in terms of filling out that frame. 10-0, looking to go 11-0. What's the plan for Hopey, do you think? Area title, maybe English title? You want the British title as soon as possible. He's ready for the British title now. The guy who's up against tonight, the last time I fought for the British title and got stopped in the mid to late rounds. So he wants to go out there, potentially do a job on him. He's going to want to get rid of his opponents within 6, I would say. Someone like Hopey is an extraordinary talent. Huge at the weight, carries himself really well, doesn't have problems doing the weight. I'm sure it'll be tough, but he's not dead at the weight. You know when a fight's dead at the weight, it's when they're mature and they get a little bit older and they can't make it anymore. He's not at that stage yet. But for someone like Hopey, the sky's the limit. It really is. You know, he's just got, there's nothing the boy can't do. You know, he really is. Punch power may be lacking a little bit. That will come when he starts sitting down on the shots more. You see, with someone like Hopey, he's looking to manoeuvre and navigate before he's even hit you. He's looking for an option, he's looking for a way out because he's so clever, he's so far, he's 2 chess moves ahead of you all the time, constantly. And so he's figured the way out before he's hit you. So when he hits you, he's halfway out. When he starts thinking, I'm going to hit you and stay there and stand down on the shot and sit on it, that's when you'll start seeing knockouts, and I have no doubt they will come eventually. I mentioned that I saw Dalton Smith in America when I was out there for Ryan Garcia Tank. With Dalton Smith was JD Boston, who fights on the card as well. I think a very special talent. You know what I like about him as well? I always moan about fighters not doing enough on social media. You've got to use all those platforms that you can. He's very active on it. You'll see him with a cameraman around him as well. His own cameraman making content for him, which chucks. Good on him. Yeah, I love it. Goes onto Instagram and YouTube. A good talent as well. Step up for him as well. Good on him. Listen, when you live and portray that kind of lifestyle and you're so active on social media, you've got to be able to back it up.
Yeah.
So Saturday night he's got to go in there and he's got to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what ring music he chooses as well. Anything from DMX to Tupac to WizKid. This guy can choose anything. Honestly, he ticks all the boxes.
I'm interested to see how good the cameraman is who's going to follow him.
Good cameraman. Good cameraman.
He must be good because he's gathering an awful lot of attention. This young man.
Honestly, he's very, very good. Not one of these big cameras, by the way. Nothing like these. I mean, but he's got his own camera equipment.
Expensive these, mate.
Well, you never know what JD Boston's earning nowadays under Eddie Hearn. Who knows? Look, good action gets underway before the bell. 5:30. Main card starts at 7 o'clock. All the crew will be there once again. Should be a good main event scrap. Dalton Smith versus Sam Maxwell for the British and Commonwealth 140-pound titles.
You know, it's just about being resilient, you know, sticking it out. That one more rep, that one more punch, that one more round. And he's always got me to where I am now.
It's perfect punching from Dalton Smith.
Maxwell. Lovely 1-2 by Maxwell.